Hi viewers, I welcome you back to my YouTube channel Yagul's tutorial. In today's session we are going to discuss about ISO OSI reference model. So in today's session we are going to discuss introduction about ISO OSI reference model and its architecture, and finally we are going to discuss about layer functionalities of OSI reference model. Basically, we need to understand what do you mean by OSI reference model. OSI stands for Open Systems Interconnection, which has been developed by ISO. ISO stands for International Standardization Organization in the year 1984. Why OSI reference model is used? What happens during the data communication? Data has to get transferred from one system to another system, or simply we can say from one host computer to another host computer. During this process, how data gets transferred in OSI reference model. So that is the main intention why this model has been developed. It has basically 7 layers architecture. Okay, now let us try to understand OSI model architecture. So in this slide I have highlighted OSI model architecture. So here I have implemented end system A and end system B, which are communicating with each other over a computer network. So already, as I said, OSI reference model, it is having a 7 layers basically. The layers are starting from physical layer to application layer. Those layers are called as physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and lastly the application layer. Assume that in this architecture, suppose system A is the sender of the data and system B is the receiver of the data. Then data transfer happens through application layer of the end system A. So data gets transferred from application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and physical layer. So this is the vertical communication happening in the system A, and when data reaches into the physical layer, then with the physical medium data gets transferred to the system B. At the receiving side, what happens when data received through the physical layer and it gets transferred to the application layer, like data will get transferred from physical layer to data link layer, later on network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. So like this, data gets transferred in the OSI model architecture. And here there is a mechanism for communication between adjacent layer, we can say. So there is a communication mechanism provided between application layer to presentation layer to session, session to transport, transport to network, and so on. These mechanism for communication between adjacent layer is called as an interface. You can observe in this architecture I have marked interface between layer 7 and layer 6. So that is called as 7-6 interface. Similarly, there will be separate interface for between 6th layer and 5th layer, that is called as 6-5 interface, and so on. There will be interface between each adjacent layer, we can say. And also to provide horizontal communication, each and every layer follows a protocol. A protocol is nothing but a set of rules that governs a communication between computers over a network. So here application layer follows its own protocol. So application layer follows application protocol, presentation layer follows the presentation protocol. Similarly, session follows its own protocol called as a session protocol. Transport layer follows the transport protocol. Likewise, network, data link, and physical layer, they are going to follow their own protocol. Picture you might have observed I have marked a certain layer, so with a blue border, green border, and red border. So some of the layers I have marked with a red border. So those are nothing but application layer, presentation layer and session layer. These layers are called as software layers because these layers makes use of a certain softwares to establish a communication over a network. That's why these layers are called as software layers. And I have even marked some of the layers with a blue border. Those are nothing but physical layer, data link layer and network layers. These layers makes use of certain hardware devices to establish a communication over a network. That's why these layers are called as hardware layers. And even I have marked one layer, that is a transport layer with a green border. This transport layer is called as heart layer of the OSI model, because this layer doesn't make use of any softwares or hardwares to establish communication. Instead of that, it uses operating system to establish a communication. So that's why it is called as the heart of the OSI model. Let us understand what are the layer functionalities of OSI reference model. First, basically let us try to understand how physical layer works. So in a physical layer, it is the lowest layer of OSI reference model, we can say, and it is responsible for actual physical connection between the systems. So here in this layer, the information what we are going to send, it will be in the form of a binary code. It uses zeros and ones to establish a communication, and the information it will be in the form of a binary, we can say. Suppose in application layer, if I send the message hi, saying hi to system B, it will be converted into binary language, which I have shown in the slide. And this layer makes use of hubs, repeaters, modems and some physical cables to establish a communication between the systems. In OSI reference model, each and every layer is having its own functionality. As we discussed the functionalities of a physical layer, similarly, the link layer is also having its own responsibility. So this layer is responsible for node-to-node delivery of messages, and it performs the functionality of framing and flow control. What do you mean by framing? A framing is nothing but the way of transmitting some set of bits, we can say. So in a physical layer, it is going to transfer the binary language codes. But here in the data link layer, what happens? Those bits are grouped together and they are framed into a single packet. In this figure, you have observed that a packet is having three portions. Those are nothing but header, packet, which is having the data, actual data to be transmitted, and at last one is trailer. Header denotes the starting point of the frame and trailer denotes the ending point of the frame. So that at the receiving side, when these frames gets transferred over the network, at the receiving side, it will be very helpful in identifying the correct sequence of the frames, so that data will be in the form of packets here, and at the receiving side, it reaches accordingly in the correct order to the receiver. So this layer ensures error-free data transfer, we can say. And most importantly, data link layer is handled by NIC. What do you mean by NIC? NIC is nothing but a network interface card and device drivers of the host computer, and it uses certain hardware devices like a switch and bridge to establish a communication over the network, and it performs even flow control functionality also. What do you mean by flow control? Flow control is nothing but maintaining correct constant bit rates at the both sides, at the sending side as well as at the receiver side. It has to maintain correct bit rate transfer. Otherwise, what happens? Suppose system A is having a faster bit rate and it is having the capacity to transfer 80 bits per second. Suppose system B is the slower one. It is not having the capacity to receive those bits. then obviously what happens at the receiving side, there might be chances of losing the packets. So this should not happen. So that's why data link layer will take care of a flow control so that it will maintain constant bit rates at both the sides. So these are the functionality of data link layer. The next layer is what? Network layer. Network layer takes care of a packet routing, we can say. Let us assume or let us consider one example. Suppose I have to transfer certain products from city A to city B. There will be several paths to travel from city A to city B. So what I will choose? I will choose the shortest path to deliver my products. And as well as suppose if the shortest path is having more traffic, so then what I will do? I will take another route to deliver my products. So similarly, in a network layer also, it follows certain algorithms to make the selection for shortest path, and for this it will make use of a router device so that it will be very easy to identify the routes to deliver the packets. So here what happens? Sender will be having his own IP address and receiver will be having his own IP address. So these IP addresses are nothing but just like a physical address what we have. But in a computer network what happens? Each and every computer or host, it will be connected to the internet and it will be identified basically by using internet protocol address. So these IP addresses will be placed in the packet's header so that it will be very helpful in identifying the right destination, so that whatever the message we are going to transfer, it has to reach the right destination. So this routing functionality will be done with the help of network layer. The next layer is a transport layer, which is responsible for end-to-end delivery of a complete message. It is also known as the heart of OSI model. This is operated by the operating system and it communicates with the application layer by using system calls. So it has to ensure that whatever the message sent by the sending system, it should completely reach the destination. So that's it. Suppose sending machine is sending a message called as how are you. So it has to reach completely at the destination side as how are you only. So it should not reach a part of the message. For that, this layer makes use of acknowledgement facility. Suppose the data which is present in transport layer is called as segment. As we discussed in earlier layers, the data which is present in physical layer is called as a bit. The data which is available in data link layer is called as a frame. Similarly, the data which is available in network layer is called as a packet. Similarly, the data which is available in this layer, it is called as a segment. So the segment what is present in a transport layer, it has to completely reach at the destination side. Suppose if it reaches completely, for that it will accept the positive acknowledgement at the sender side. If it receives positive acknowledgement, it indicates that yes, complete message has been delivered to the destination. Suppose if it accepts a negative acknowledgement, it might be due to network failure or it might be due to some packet losses during the network traffic. At that time what happens, a complete message will not reach the destination. At that time what happens, in this layer it receives a negative acknowledgement. For that, this layer it resends the same message and it ensures that yes, complete message has been reached at the destination side. So this is the main functionality of a transport layer. The next layer is what? A session layer, which is responsible for establishment of a connection between the sending device to destination device, and also it has to ensure the maintenance of the session it has to provide the authentication facility, and it has to provide the security for the session what it is going to establish. The next layer is what a presentation layer, which is also called as a translation layer. So normally what happens, the data what we are going to create, it will be in the application layer. So because the user is directly interacting with the application layer, assume that suppose if he wants to send a message hi, saying hi to the system B. So this message will be extracted through the presentation layer from application layer, and it is going to perform the manipulation task, and it is going to translate the message which is received by the application layer to its required format. Say for example, it may convert the original message into ASCII code or BCD code, like that. In this slide I have displayed, suppose the hi message will be converted into ASCII format, that is 72-105. So that is the equivalent ASCII code that presentation layer is going to convert, because the main task of this layer is to make the translation or to make the compression functionality, so that it has to ensure that it should not send huge data in the over the network. So it has to compress, or it has to reduce the number of bits to be transferred in the network. Also it has to perform the cryptography functionality, like it has to perform encryption and decryption tasks. What do you mean by encryption task? It is nothing but the facility of converting a plain text to cipher text. So plain text will be in the form of readable, but a cipher text will be in the form of unreadable format. So conversion of a plain text to cipher text, and similarly decryption, that is nothing but a conversion of cipher text to plain text. So it has to perform even these functionalities also. So these are the functionalities that a presentation layer has to carry out. Layer of OSI reference model is application layer, which is also known as a desktop layer. Through this, user is going to produce the data, and it serves as a window for application services to access the network and for displaying the received data, we can say. Normally what happens, application layer makes use of certain softwares like browsers, web browsers, messengers, Skype, etc. to produce the data at the sender sites, and similarly whatever the data produced by at the sender's side, it has to receive the same message at the destination side also. So again, by using the same softwares, even receiver can see the original message. So this is what happening with a application layer. To finish this video, if you like my video, kindly like, share and subscribe. Thank you.